Get started. I believe Bob is on a meeting call right now, so we got Scott with us. Scott, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just going through the agenda, nothing on page 1, no public comments. Page 2, new business. This may be similar when you read the green sheets for facility improvements. May sound like repetition, similar to last week, but just new facilities that are being upgraded and renovated through that. Item 2, this is an effort to improve the number of water sampling stations to 180 throughout the city to meet federal guidelines. This test for chloroform and other possible contaminants. Item 3, this is a continuation of our effort to streamline our streetlights and street management for intelligent street management. This will be from McLean to Hydraulics, so about 1.5 miles. Will be signals, crosswalks, things of that nature. Number 4 is the CAFR, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. As you know, this is the important financial analysis and statement that outside auditors do for us. This is critical for when we go out to the bond market or for investments. This is one of the critical documents they read to us. Number 5 is an overestimate bid for tennis improvements and a grant award of $403,000 that'll allow this project to move forward for tennis center improvements.
Scott, I have a question on that for a moment.
Yep.
The next one. My understanding is that this $400,000 is going to make us appealing to state and regional championships. Has there been an economic analysis done that could show that this improvement might actually be bringing in outside visitors to Wichita, which could help our economy?
I believe so. I don't have that with me, and there we go. Troy's on the big screen right there.
Hey, Troy.
So Mayor, we don't have an economic impact study. However, we've been working with the USTA, United States Tennis Association, and they've set up some tournaments for us next year when we can actually get past COVID that are going to have a huge impact on the amount of tournaments we'll be able to have here in Wichita. So I don't have a number for that. It all depends on a lot of different things next year in regards to COVID. It also depends on how many tournaments we have. It depends on how large they are. But it's definitely going to have an impact. It's going to open the door for us.
Excellent. And you said this is grant money, so this isn't coming from our general fund, obviously. Right.
Thank you, Mayor. So it appears that this additional money has strings attached.
Correct.
Because when we had this first hearing, I asked a question about restroom expansion, parking lot, and so forth. No, we weren't going to need any of that. That any foundation money we get would go towards lowering the overall cost. Now it looks like we're taking the foundation money to make additional improvements instead of lowering the overall cost.
Yeah, Troy's still on there. Let's see.
Well,
Yes, I'm
recognize
still here.
Troy and then the vice mayor.
So the intention was to use all the CIP dollars that we have budget for this. With the shortfall that we have, this grant would cover that. I think that's roughly about $250,000, and the remainder of that would be additional improvements. So one of the things that we wanted to do is add some extra bathrooms, and I think that's going to be the major element that will be moving forward.
But we're only going to get the additional bathrooms because we're using the foundation money to do it instead of lowering the overall cost to us, which is already an overestimate bid.
That's correct. There was an estimate, and a lot of our estimates have been underestimates as we've been going through COVID. A lot of the construction is becoming more and more expensive. So, but this bid the grant will get us what we were expecting to get from the very beginning.
But again, we're only getting the grant if we do these additional improvements that we didn't anticipate doing.
No, I don't believe that.
So
That's what I asked at the council meeting.
No,
Vice Mayor Clayco.
thank you. So Troy, correct me if I'm wrong. So there was an overestimate, and so the foundation decided to help make that up and add additional money. Isn't that right, Troy? So they're covering the overestimate plus these other expenses that we weren't going to get.
But I thought we were.
That's correct. I think there was
thought we were
a
hoping
joint shared vision of having things like the shade structure, adding some of the pickleball courts. So that was a shared vision that we all had. And so this is just going to get us to over that hump.
So when we first heard this, we weren't hoping for foundation money at that time.
No, this is additional foundation money. There
Okay.
was foundation money in that first time.
this is
an-
new
This
foundation.
is new
It's net new
foundation
dollars.
money.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think
That could have been said from the
Yeah,
beginning.
sorry,
We would
okay.
have had all
We'll make
this.
sure that's in the presentation.
Yeah, I think
Net
new
new
dollars.
dollars.
Yeah,
Net new dollars.
this isn't coming back to us.
'Cause it-
This is
Okay.
additional.
That
yeah.
will be very helpful.
Okay.
And what it looks like, I think Councilmember Fry, is the cost, the expense goes up, but the cost isn't going up because we got the more grant money. So even though it's becoming more expensive because we're getting a better product, that money's not, our personal cost didn't go up, I think is the takeaway.
Well, the fact that it's new foundation
Yeah,
money
it's
clears it up.
There we go.
Right.
Thank you.
And also Dion is with us and he's a very big fan of pickleball, so we're hoping a good story comes out of this. Pay attention to Dion to the next one, no, I'm kidding, yeah. Any more questions on that item? See none, the floor is yours.
Top of page 3, number 6, substantial amendment. This is our substantial amendment to the 2019-2023 consolidated plan, as well as the second year, 2020 to 2021 program year annual action plan. This lays out our funding priorities and allocations for each of those activities. A lot of good things that housing's doing out there today. Item 7 is the 2021 annual operating budget and 2021-2030 capital improvement program. This simply sets the public hearing for the proposed budget for August 1st of 2020. If you remember, this also includes the CIP. The CIP is a 10-year document. And then with the budget, if you remember, just some numbers that are interesting, that coming out of the retreat, we went out and did the online simulator for people to go in and vote for their favorites or how they adjust. So it looks like we had nearly 10,000 surveys or online budget simulators, activities taking place on that, as well as we did a social media town hall, as well as our typical meetings with DABs.
Yeah, it's actually
August
August 11th.
11th.
Yes.
Okay. Apologize for that.
Question, so on this one, I know at some point we have to set the maximum budget. Is this what we're doing? Okay.
Yep.
On all of these funds, right? Because it's got Schmid,
It's got TIFs.
TIFs, and so it's all
Yep.
those. We're setting the maximum, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And Scott, you said there was 10,000 surveys. Is that more or less than usual?
Elizabeth?
Yeah, so on the budget simulator, which is the online simulator, we had about twice to 3 times as many as last year. And then on Facebook, we never done the voting buttons. It was Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor. We never did the voting buttons before, so I don't really have an apples to apples comparison. But it was a lot more feedback than usually we get.
Awesome.
Comments and likes and such.
Cool.
Yeah, we're really pleased with the amount of activity we have from the community on providing us responses and insights of how they're thinking.
Was there any research or looking into the analytics side to see if the feedback was balanced throughout our community or weighted so that we can get a better idea of what of the survey results? Or was it just raw data?
Yeah, I think we'll be doing that in the fall. We have qualitative comments on, well, it was optional on the budget simulator, and then we have each person's choices. So unfortunately, given the amount of work that it takes to put the budget together, that's something we'll do afterwards, and then it will inform the decision making for next year as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, page 4, nothing on page 4. Nothing on page 5. Just a couple of minor things on page 6. We have an agreement with City of Andover for anytime there's improvements out there that impact some of our water meters that are along Andover Road. We're responsible to remove and replace. They're doing a sidewalk program, so there's a number of water meters that we'll pay to remove and replace to make that happen. That's about $16,000. Number 4 is a sale of a remnant property. This is back some time ago when we did the Kellogg Hillside interchange for 54 Kellogg, whatever we want to call 400. This is a remnant. The applicant has proposed $10,000. We're recommending approval of that. Just a note, the city will only receive 25% of that. 75% will go back to KDOT since they are one of our funding partners originally for that project. Nothing else on page 6, and Mayor, I think most of the other planning items on page 7 and 8, nothing of note unless you have specific questions about one of those.
All right, is there any questions for staff?
I don't have a question, but I do have a request for the CAFR. I always say this about financial stuff, if we could make a specialized video or something to put out just to keep people informed about our financial situation and share that on social media.
Okay. We'll do
Other
that.
comments or requests? See none. Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.